All right, we're here and we're streaming. So that's all super fun and fine and dandy. How exciting. Honestly, I was supposed to have opened up an entirely different instance such that we can start working on music. So I am gonna do that right now. And yeah, we're gonna work a little bit on the song that I'm supposed to have released like 3 months ago. And then after we work on that for a little bit, we'll do some sound design, work on other songs, um, make a song from scratch. I don't know. The usual thing. Maybe talk about VST development. I could show off some of the new hyperfield stuff. And make everyone really bummed out that they're not in the hyperfield beta. That could be the move. Yeah. What's up, Cordy? Howdy. Welcome. You won the got a chat in during the loading screen award. Not that many people have won that. Let me. Hey, what's up? Promise future. It goes. I ate too much food and I'm streaming a little bit too late, but I told myself I'm gonna stream and work on music every day that I reasonably can, and I totally reasonably can today. And I was fucking around all day, so now I'm streaming really late. So yeah, I listened to this song on a hike, and the mix is almost there. We're really getting there. Took a couple notes. Let me see what I wrote down. The intro is can be better. Intro sound design can be a lot better. And then there's a couple sound design bits I want to change. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, just the flying saucer Doppler shift sound, kind of lit already. I think it's not super distracting, but Doppler shifting is lit enough that I'd want it in this little bit here. Something else that I said in my notes, which is true and I agree with, is this little bit. Just transient gating. Transient gating on voices is so like my production style from 5 years ago. And I'm way better than that now. So let's do a polyrhythmic autopan, which should be considerably more lit, as the great Dr. Derg would say. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So we're gonna we're just gonna take some of that, give it one of these. Give one of these. Maybe do one of those. Let's turn it up more. Like, what the heck is a mom mini? congrats on that. Yeah. Also, what's up, Van Dweller? Welcome. Yeah, Ableton 10 to 12, that's a big change. That's a big upgrade. 11, 10 to 11, I thought was massive. 11 to 12, I thought it was kind of lackluster, but 10 to 12 is crazy. Yeah, good shit. So I think I need to make this FM. There's this like added FM bright deep bass layer that just doesn't. It sounds kind of shit. I don't know. I listened to this in my car earlier, and this bit, the mix here, sounds fucking great, I think. But once we add this extra layer over here, it's not quite like gluing in, you know? What can we do? I mean, we can just turn it down. When in doubt, usually the solution is easier than you think, and the solution is just to turn shit down. Like, probably just... turn it down a little bit just so it builds in. New drop comes, you're like, okay, here it is, and then you notice it as opposed to being hit with it immediately. Sound as good. Verse 2, you could remove, I imagine you mean 2.2, you think I should remove something? Because the way I have it, and I'm generally happy with how it's going, is that it's just building. Yeah, it sticks out a little bit. It doesn't sound better now that I fixed it, I hope. I want it to just sound like a part of the other bass, you know? I just don't want it to pop out. And I don't like how everything gets, like, weak at the end. Yeah, like, what happens there, man? It's like there's a low-pass filter. I have a low-pass filter on this? What's going on? Yes, I do. I found it. I fucking found it. Yeah, you sound bad. Don't do that. Something's not right. I think did a delay break again? There's some weird low mid thing delaying around. It's this guy. What the fuck are you doing? You're not helping, bud. Yeah, that last bit there is kind of a problem child. Pretty annoying. Just because I'm gonna culminate it with a shit ton of really, really, really bright information at like the maximum possible volume. It's the loudest part of the song, and it's all really bright stuff, so it hurts your ears. I don't know. I put Soothe on it. Hopefully that does it. I should probably step away from the song. I'm at the point of mixing with this song where I think I could just work on it for like 15, 20 minutes and then I have to step away, you know? I find that that's like usually when I'm the most productive, is when I get into like a rhythm or a flow of I just chip at a song just for a little bit and then just move on. And then the next day I come back and just chip at it for like 5-10 minutes and then move on. Just making subtle tweaks. I did add a lot of new stuff though in the beginning. So we have these like binaural flying saucer sounds I made earlier. Pretty cool. that's really the way. Every time I like get really locked in, or I don't get locked in, I lock myself in and force myself to like binge focus on one song. I really just need to fucking finish this song. I just make it worse, and I just end up adding more time, and it's just not productive. Um, I think you want to juggle a few different songs. When I'm most productive is like I'll have five, like when I'm mixing down an EP or really trying to finish a thing, I'll just switch between like 5 songs. And then by the time I'm done working on the 5th song, my perception's reset and I can go back to the first one and I don't hate it as much. And I like my hearing isn't messed up anymore and I can kind of absorb what I'm listening to, you know? Yeah. I remember thinking when I listened to this, I think I made the snare too quiet. I've been in this fucked up balancing act of thinking the snare is too loud and squashed in the mix and too quiet. So I don't know. There's like a weird little click that's going into this vocoder. I'm trying to get rid of it. Fuck it, we're just putting Soothe on everything. This section is kind of boring. I don't know. I know it's a good section. I know this is a good section. It's just repetitive and kind of boring in a sense. Um, that doesn't mean it's bad. That just means that's the style it's in. But me having listened to this song over and over and over again for, you know, like 6 years makes me really fucking hate this section because it's so boring. You know. I was hearing clicks that don't exist apparently. Okay, yeah, that's sounding better, I think. It's probably releasable. We did make a change. We did more than just mixing changes. We added the binaural bullshit, so I may end up regretting that, but I think it sounds lit. I think it sounds. I need to stop saying lit. I need to stop saying that. I don't know why that's re-entered my lexicon. It's a problem. It needs to go. Okay, what next? I mean, this song is the most important thing I need to work on because I'm trying to release it like as of -3 months from now. So I want that to be done. Um, we have like a billion other songs we need to work on. I have been thinking and rethinking whether or not I want to um whether or not I want to do this EP as a 6-track EP or just fucking full send it and do like a whole album. That does sound enticing, and then I can be done with more music faster. However, it will also take longer at the same time, which makes no sense, you know? Um, yeah, I don't know. Do not know, but let's work on, I don't know, let's work on this song. Fuck it. Let's open this guy. Maybe we can add more what do you call it? Binaural stuff. Just spice everything up. I guess is my webcam stuff even set up right now? Where's the keyboard cam? Sorta. Sorta, I can adjust it. Here, let's adjust that. Bam. Keyboard up close. Yeah, that keeps happening, and it's really annoying. Where Ableton opens a new project file, and then it like fucks with the reverb. It like changes one of the reverb parameters every time. Something about the MIDI controller connected to Ableton. do you do this? I'm trying to play it in a key I've never played it in. No? Da, da, da. I don't fucking know. Okay, whatever. There you go. There you have it. Me not being able to play that song in a different key. I know you're all asking for it. How do I close this freaking... There we go. There we go. Okay, we got this song now. Sounds that shouldn't exist right now. What's going on, man? I feel like that's not supposed to be that loud, and then I'm hearing the onclung making a weird sound. What the freaking heck, man? swear this sound isn't supposed to sound like that. This sound isn't supposed to sound like that. Incredible. Can't believe we made the word sound, the act of perceiving, the thing that sounds do is they sound like sounds. English is a crazy language. Okay, where I'm just trying to find this is one of the issues with listening to a song on repeat over and over and over again when it's like a work in progress is how it sounds in the mix at that one export ends up being solidified as the way it's supposed to be, you know? Also, hello, Mr. Leaky. Thank you. He is a legend. Okay. Oh, yeah, all those sounds were in it. I guess I just haven't heard them before. I'm also listening on Barefoots, I guess, and they're more transparent than like when I'm normally listening to them in AirPods or whatever, so. Hey, what's up, Knockalong? Welcome, welcome. Howdy, howdy, howdy. So I think the mix is at a point where it's like, it feels vaguely like there are things I can do to improve it, but I can't actually put my finger on like what I can do to make it sound better. I think that's a result of it also just being like a pretty dynamic song, and there's like a good amount of shit that ends up being louder or smaller than other things. Yeah, an event organizer reached out to you asking recently if you could play a full OG sets. I think you could. You totally could. I feel like you have enough music. Like you might not think that your music that you have in a stockpile is good enough to play out live, but it probably is, and you probably most definitely could. But yeah, no, I've seen your name coming up in the forums. A friend of mine sent me a screenshot today of like them in a Facebook group, and someone mentioned my name, and they're like, "Oh my god, your name got mentioned in a Facebook group." And the discussion post with my name in it was like about one of your songs, and someone else was like, "Oh, you should also check out Paleac and these other artists." So like you're on the up and up. It's happening. The word's being spread. Denonkalonk. It's happening. So big things, very exciting. But I would say just get songs together to play a full set. Like do it. You could totally do it. I think if you just like you put a month into grinding and getting these like other song ideas that you have out to a playable state. They don't need to be releasable, they need to be playable, right? You could do that. You absolutely could. I don't know, just believe me and do it. Mr. Guilt and Mr. Leaky enter the same hemisphere. We'll start to tilt to a new degrees. Yeah, I did start to feel it did feel like an incredible reckoning was upon us when I saw both of you in the chat at the same time. Okay, you also saw the post. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'm not on Facebook at all, so just every once in a while someone will send me a thing. You just put it in the Discord, actually. Okay. I will peep. I will peep. All right. All right. New Snorgle portal. Any suggestions on where to take this? No, it has more potential. Okay. I think low mids are a little wee bit concentrated. I don't know if you want like in-depth mixing feedback. I'm just gonna do my thing. But I think low mids are a little bit too much. And in particular, there's like one resonance like right, just like that guy. Probably, I assume it's the most bright thing. There's a resonant sine wave in there that it'd be resonant. So watch out for. Maybe a touch less reverb. You could probably turn the reverb down by like 3 dB, maybe even 5 dB, and it'll still do the thing that you want it to do. Okay, compositionally, I think you can extend some of these sections out. I feel if it's also a vibe. It's also a vibe in of itself for you to go from this vibe to that vibe to holy shit, this thing is happening now, because it sounds kind of like a little manic in an unhinged way, kind of like what a Snorgle portal would probably behave like. So that's valid. But I feel like you could extend some of these sections like a little bit longer and make a little bit more obvious of buildups or fallers or whatever, and then you could extend the song pretty naturally. Sorry, I'm going back. Yeah, just a little bit too much reverb. Specifically, I think reverb at the same time that the synths are playing. You could have this much reverb there, but try putting on your reverb bus a sidechain to your synth such that when the synth is playing, it's just the fucking speaker, and then when a synth stops playing, then the reverb swells out. I think that could make it sound a little bit better and a little bit larger to make it bigger. Because it also indicates, I think that would mean that you're in a very large room, right? Because if you know the reverb swell happens after a good amount of time, then that indicates that the walls are very far away, and so it's like the sound is big, the room is big, the whole thing is big, you know. That could be cool. Yeah, the couple, okay, it works, it totally works. That's why I was like hedging it. The transition thing, but it could be extended, and you could make the song longer if you wanted to do that. But this is a vibe in of itself, so you know, creative decisions is one. Wait, let me go back a second. It sounds low fidelity. Like it's getting repitched with a low sample. I feel like the snare could use a little bit more high end, like ultra highs and stuff. Just because, like, okay, the snare sounds good by itself, but when you have these really, really large, really loud, and really high frequency sounds that are like full frequency spectrum, and it feels like the snare isn't hitting that full frequency spectrum. It makes the snare feel even smaller than it is. Maybe the snare could just be louder. Maybe that's what I'm asking for. Maybe make the snare louder and like a touch more super high end. Maybe add like a little bit of erosion in the ultra highs, just like a little bit, so it's not like super obvious because erosion can sound like shit. But I think that can help. I think I might have heard a click. The mix is pretty fucking good. The mix is pretty fucking good. It's not quite a click, but there's like kind of like a little squish, like a squish, but like a clicky squish, you know? It sounds kind of like an unintentional distortion click thing, you know? I can't recreate that sound effect. Yeah, right there, right there. It's like OTT with a weird attack. You have like a weird attack on your synth and a bunch of compression or something like that, and it doesn't sound that great. Right. Yeah, and there's more there. So whatever that synth is, it's doing it. Can you even see it in? You can't even really see it in the waveform. Yeah, I would try to remove that either through painful, awful automation and glitching and cutting and micro editing, or I don't know. There's probably a knob you can twist to fix it. I don't fucking know. Also, some of the synths I feel are like different fidelity. Like some of them feel more polished than others. Maybe you have a low pass filter on some of them, and some of them you don't. It makes some of them feel like they hit a little bit less hard than they could. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like that one right there, that guy is much more like further back in the mix and blurry and low fidelity and filtered or whatever than the preceding big boy, you know? I mean, it sounds like it's like something repitched down and then you distorted the shit out of it to like bring the high frequencies back in. Whereas the other thing is like coming directly out of current or whatever the fuck. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm just guessing. I think those sounds can be made a little bit more polished. I think I just filter shade the ultra highs with the envelope curve on the stinker bass with the clicks. Well, the clicks I think are occurring in more than just the ultra highs. I think it's like a transient thing. I don't know if that'll clean it, but maybe you could try it. It might work. Yeah, drums need to be a little bit louder. Just drums need to be a little bit louder, I think. Synths sound good for you know, these like insanely piercing and like super kind of crazy sounds. Like they're mixed pretty well. So good shit on. Wait, let me go back a little bit. There's like a chord that's just playing really far in the background. It's hard to hear. I think you have to either commit to not playing it at all or bring it way up in front. I think you got to choose one or the other. That is my brave take. Yeah, I would just remove it. It didn't feel like it was really doing anything other than like distracting me and making me feel like there's another sound playing that isn't in the song. I mean, maybe it sounds lit if it's brought really far up, but I don't know. I should probably just play the fucking song out instead of pausing every 5 seconds. The little balloon pop, that thing sounds a little bit too clipped in my opinion. I love the super snilky section. Sounds like Snilk for sure. Yeah, that sound right there. I can hear the fucking the clipping, the shaved waveform being chopped up. And I personally don't like that sound. You know, that's just me. I know most of the scene likes that sound, but I'm gonna complain when I hear it on an element that I think doesn't need it. Okay, so my expectation when you did this, the switch up into this section was fucking dope. And then at about 1 minute and 50 seconds, let me go back. Let me just like count the bars. Okay, right there. Okay, so there's this like whoa, 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 kind of whatever echoing, super washed out, reverbed out, delayed, squelch thing that's in the background. And what I was hearing and what I really wanted to happen is I wanted that to get louder and louder and louder. And then at 1 minute and 40 seconds, basically after 8 bars or 16 bars or whatever, then we go into another section where you then cut all the reverb that's on all the drums, and then you have a more dedicated other section. Whereas right now it feels like we're in this like breakdown pseudo build up ish area with the cool stinky drums, and it just kind of sits here and doesn't really do anything besides showing off how stanky your drums are. Like that's cool too, but I feel like there's a lot of reverb on all the drums and it makes it feel like a more like chilled out section or whatever. And so you could use that as segueing into an actual drop where then you remove the reverb on the drums, keep the drums stanky. Same stanky drums, but like accentuated, less reverb, more high fidelity, way more in the mix, fuck ton of sub bass, add some squelches back in, or just other smooth sounds, add some chords, make it jazzy. I don't fucking know. Yeah, you see my vision. Because as it stands, it just kind of like dwells in this area, and I'm kind of like waiting for a thing to happen that doesn't. That's what I felt listening to it. Yeah, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I would recommend doing anything. I don't really remember the rest of the advice I gave you. Mix is pretty good. There's some clicky stuff, a little bit too much reverb. I think some of the synths could be made a little bit more polished. There's just certain ones that stood out to me as like being less polished than the rest of the synths. That was my impression. Okay, let's see this thing by Van Dweller. Actually, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick and piss. I don't know why I said "and" as if that wasn't what using the bathroom meant. I'll be back in a minute, and then we'll do this. Okay, we are back, and we are here. Great. Nonkalonk has met Gilp. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. Alright. New song from Van Dweller, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Nice, nice. The ultra highs are a little bit too bright, and some of these sounds are a little bit too loud. Let me go back for a second. I was trying to figure out shit in my OBS. Hold on. God damn it! I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. I mean, maybe my shit is just turned up too loud, but it feels like just like who knows, maybe the rest of the song will kick in and then actually the volume will sound right in context, but I feel like some of the pricklies are just a little bit too loud. I think some sort of riser or pre-transient, some sort of freaking indicator that the kick drum was about to come would be cool. Just anything, maybe like a reverse reverb tail or a riser of some sort, or a tiny little cute drum fill made by a leprechaun gnome fairy thing. And some of the drums are very clicky, very short, and very clicky in like full frequency spectrum. You can see the clicks on the thing. I would try to I would just remove that. I want it to sound smoother personally. I don't know. I mean, we're 40 seconds into a song, so maybe I'll come around and stop heckling based on the first 3 seconds of your drum loop. But they're very clicky. I would make them less clicky. Discord link expired. Oh, jeez. Oh no. How do I do this? Maybe that's why bots stopped fucking raiding my Discord. Here you go. This is fucking awesome. Yeah, my beef is just the drum, the percussive bits. There's certain little like short, super clipped, super clicky percussion bits that are just bothering the shit out of me in the midst of this like fucking beautiful, crazy IDM, awesome, sick, super cool, neat, real cool, wicked sick, wicked smooth, nice. Like you hear they're just playing kind of constantly with the drums. I think it's pretty obvious what I'm talking about. Just they're very clicky, and there's a variety of them. Make them smooth. Yeah. I think the like granular the bell thing that sounds kind of like it sounds like the first song in Confield by Autechre. If you know Autechre, you know the one. I think that thing could be widened. There's a bunch of little prickly dudes. I think they could fucking start bouncing around and fill the stereo field. I think it could be made. I think you can make that sound a little bit more interesting with like stereo depth or something. I think there's a click right there. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, there's a click right at fucking 202 or something. Now I'm thinking about it, especially I mean, I was thinking about this earlier, but I think it's true. I think these elements here are like a little bit too loud, just a wee bit. The like baseline kind of shindiggity thing. Just because like that frequency region, I don't know, like 130 hertz is like real tricky. Like it'll hum really fucking loudly in a car or whatever. So just be mindful of that. You could probably turn it down a few dB. A little EQ notch there or something. It's hard for me to tell. That's also a hard region for me to really judge in my room because there's a massive room mode right at like 130. In most people's rooms you have room modes at 130 hertz. So it's usually a problem area. It gets pretty bright right about there. So just watch like add a Fletcher Munson curve to some of these synths and stuff. Compression. Something that you could try playing around with that I've done sometimes is you could take a Fletcher Munson curve, which, as you know, it just boosts the fuck out of boosts or cuts basically all the areas of the frequency spectrum that your ear will boost or cut or whatever. Right? And so what you can do is you can boost the shit out of all the painful frequencies, and then you can compress your signal, right? And then you could cut out, check this out, and then you cut out the painful frequencies. And so what this does is you're then exaggerating all the painful frequencies so that those ones the compressor cares more about. Stuff like that could probably help out. But also, along with this, just also like use a Fletcher Munson curve to just reduce those frequencies a little bit. I think that in combination could be cool. Or just use Soothe. Soothe is cheat codes. Yeah. In this section, it feels like there's a little bit too many elements. You could do some subtractive work. Like I think the squelchy little bit, when that comes in, there's a couple other elements fighting for space, and it's doing something really cool, but it's kind of hard to pay attention to. So some subtractive work in this section, I think, would make it shine a little. think there's this like super saw pad in the background that's just going, and I mean it's not bad. It's just relative to everything else you got going, it's the most boring element. Everything else sounds fucking insane. Super cool sound design, super creative, and then we just kind of just have this like sawed pad, super saw, whatever in the background. Maybe just put a phaser on it. Just a phaser. Just make it start morphing. Make it move through space. I think that can make it just a bit more cool. Or have a filter opening up on it with like a resonance. I just want a little bit more movement there. That's me. That's a subjective thing for sure. I wasn't expecting that cutoff. Maybe I'm ruining my own expectation of when things should happen because I'm pausing it and roasting the song every 10 seconds. But I'm gonna go back a little bit and just really listen to when the cutoff happens. Yeah, I would. I don't like how it cuts off there. Maybe use a riser or a faller or something. Just increase the amount of reverb. Just fucking splash your reverb send. Just boost the shit out of all your reverb sends right at the very end, and then it'll echo out and it'll sound better. I'd play around with stuff like that, reverb and delay sends, and um, and a riser, something like that. Make that ending more obvious that it's about to happen. Like I noticed now on listen. Okay, here's my idea. I noticed upon listening back that you have this little kind of sound that happens at the very end of every like 16 bars, and that signifies when the new loop is happening. It was not obvious to me when the downbeat is or when the loop is happening because the song is like, I mean, it's very IDM-y and there's like a lot of shit going on. I think if you want the song to be a little bit more predictable and a little bit more danceable, just a bit, you could use risers or fallers or just something to just emphasize the downbeat just a little bit more. So not even necessarily to emphasize, oh, the end of the phrase is coming just at the very end of the song, right, that I was just asking for there, but also throughout the rest of the drop from earlier on, I think could help people understand a little bit more about the structure and that sound is emphasizing when the end of your 16 bar cycle is happening. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Risers and fallers, just like, doesn't have to be much, just a little bit extra that signifies shit. Yeah. Dope. I like how you most definitely did not have to extend the song to 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but you did, because you could. It feels like a really long phrase. Yeah, it is a pretty long phrase. There's a lot going on, but I don't know. Just risers and fallers, at the very least for the end, and then I would recommend playing around with just like every 16 beats or bars or whatever, and then you can add a riser or faller or whatever. I mean, that does make it a little bit more predictable and EDM-y, but people like dancing to electronic music, so sometimes you want to make electronic dance music. Yeah, very cool. All right, we got a couple new songs from brand new people, I think. Both of them? Yeah, two new people. We got this is kind of a new kid. I don't know. I don't know who new kid Leroy is, but we shall find out. Do you have a tutorial about Fletcher Munson curve? Not really, but just look up Fletcher Munson, like what it is. And here I'll drop where Fletcher Munson. This is a preset I downloaded like fucking I don't know, years and years ago. Like 8 years ago. It's an EQ preset for Ableton. And it literally is, you just adjust the scale knob and it just changes the Fletcher Munson EQ. It just is gonna reduce the volume of frequencies that your ear, due to its natural makeup, will boost. I'll have to ban a robot. We got a robot. Anyways, there's not much more to it. It's just that, like, it's another way to turn down sounds. Instead of turning the whole level down, you're just turning down the sounds that get boosted by your ear. Because sometimes the point at which a sound is too loud is governed by those frequencies that get boosted a shit ton, right? Like, if you're listening to a sound that consists of a sound at 100 hertz and a sound at 5 kilohertz, right? Like, your sound is just two frequencies. Well, it's going to become overbearing and way too loud in the 5 kilohertz region long before the 100 hertz region, right? So if you turn down the 5 kilohertz, then you can boost both sounds up together, right? So imagine extrapolating that to a whole frequency spectrum of sounds, and you're applying it to that. And so you can make sounds louder before they hurt your ears, right? That's the premise. So just use this as a mixing tool. I use it all the time. Okay, I keep teasing Agent Alex. Well, we'll see this now. I think the kick could be just a tiny bit louder. It sounds pretty good. There's there's not too much I can nitpick on. I do think there's this layered, you could see the two harmonics of it that are layered on the snare. There's this extra element that he's layered on the snare. Let me go back because it's not playing before. Maybe it's there the whole time and just became more obvious over here. Yeah, it's boosted in volume over here. Anyways, there's this extra layer that he added to the snare. I'm not a fan of it, personally. I think it sounds bad. I don't know how else to describe it. Sometimes there's a couple other songs that do this where they add this like ultra high harmonic snare layer. And I just keep listening. Like, I stop paying attention to the entire song and I'm just listening to that one single like 15 kilohertz sine wave that's layered on the thing. So I don't know. Do with that what you will. I would remove that or change it or just EQ out that high frequency region or lower in volume that layered sample, or I don't know. It's definitely not it's not a reverb or compression thing. Because reverb and reverb would, neither of those would change anything about the frequency content of the sound. I mean, maybe it's just you're just using a single snare sample. I don't know if you're layering multiple snare samples. I was assuming that, but if you're using a single snare sample, you could take an EQ, right? You could take an EQ and then you just go hunt it down. Just be like, bop, just like fucking notch those guys out. If you don't like them. Remember, also, everything's subjective. Like, if you think it sounds better with those sounds in, then keep them. I'm just some dude with opinions, you know? So just always keep that in mind. Whenever someone gives you feedback and gives you advice, consider if what they're saying is true or not. Always consider it and then decide on whether or not to act on it. So I will roast people's music and I'll be like, you should make it this way. Oh, that sounds bad, whatever. Just consider if you should make it this way and consider if it sounds bad and then act on it. Because sometimes I'm wrong. Who the fuck knows, you know? Layered like 6 snares. Okay, yeah, I'll just find which snare that is doing that and then EQ it or remove it or do whatever, play around. I'm just not a fan personally of that layer in that snare. Everything else is obviously, it sounds like this is a beat made for vocals to rap over. So, I mean, this is outside of my wheelhouse. I make like crazy electronic music with like squids and aliens and stuff talking to you and whatever. But like unless vocals are going to carry the song, I do find it kind of boring. So I would try to like add counter melody or melody to it. Now, if the intention is really just have a rapper do or a singer or whatever sing along with it and then add layers of vocals, and then it's fine. That would be cool, but otherwise, if you want to improve the song and you're looking for feedback as to like where else you could take it, I would try melody and counter melody because that can really give a song more identity, right? Like I feel like largely in most music, the chords you have pads playing, which are basically like definitionally like background chords. They're kind of coloring the song. You're kind of declaring like what the color is, the mood, and then the melody can tell a story, right? So I think a melody could help. The main part is meant to be vocals. I gotcha. Yeah. It could be that the beat also could go hard with a melody as well as the vocals, but maybe you'd want to wait until you work with a vocalist to decide on what the melody is or something, because maybe the vocalist naturally wants to sing a certain way and then you can make a melody go along with it. But I think it would benefit from a melody. But again, I don't listen to the like beats and stuff. And then also, you can make the percussion a little bit more interesting, perhaps. I'm kind of looking for stuff to critique here. But like right now, you just have this like shaker hat thing that's doing its thing. Makes some like percussive fills at the end of like every 4 or 8 bars. Maybe there's like a boop, 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 kind of thing with different hi-hat samples and different shaker samples or whatever, or toms or whatever. Just little drum fills, stuff to spice it up. I mean, yeah, they're here now. Maybe it was just that section was... I mean, it sounds good. Sounds good. I just want more... I mean, it's just me. I'm the guy who makes weird squid sounds and aliens and stuff, but I want to hear squids and aliens in this music right now. Even though, you know, this is like the bridge or whatever, our vocalist is going to be doing stuff, you could probably do a little bit more interesting stuff in the background with production, with like filters moving around. Maybe you like can copy and resample the chords and then have filters like opening up and closing on them with like high resonances and stuff, just to like, or put phasers on stuff to make it more wide, create movement in multiple other dimensions, because right now it's just a very static thing. And I understand it's waiting for vocalists, but I'm here to critique, so I'm critiquing. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Okay, I like that element at the end. I don't know if I skipped over it from earlier, but that's my favorite part of the song, and I wish it was in it more. It sounds good. I like the really high-end like bell, little melodic kind of bell rhythm thing, whatever rhythm it's... Yeah, I think it just needs more in it. Obviously, it's, you know, it's waiting for a vocalist to rap or sing or whatever on it. But even then, I think you can make it a lot more interesting, and then it'll sound more interesting with a vocalist on it, because then the production is going to be super crazy as well, you know? Okay, let's check out Tegan Scruffy. Kick drum is too loud relative to everything else. I think your clap or your snare or whatever could be a little bit better. It's just like white noise with it's like compressed white noise into being a snare. And could be shaped a little bit better, maybe. Maybe you could transient shape it. Maybe it just needs to be a little bit louder. Maybe you could layer it with other snares, but it feels a little... It's kind of The kicks are interesting. I think there's too many of them, personally. I would try to dial it back and maybe have them be a little bit more unpredictable, a little more, I don't know, like break-y, and changing up the pattern a little bit more from time to time. But I do think what you're doing sounds interesting. I do think what you're doing sounds interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the rest of the beat can be turned up a decent amount, I think. So really just like turn the kick down a little bit and then like group all your melodic stuff and the vocals and compress that, and then you can boost that in volume, and then you can make everything a little bit louder. Oh, it is a Detroit type beat, so it's very like footworky. Okay, I see the vision. I see the vision. Yeah. Yeah, keep in mind when I'm giving feedback, I'm literally looking for shit to complain about or suggest or whatever, right? I'm like in a different mind state than I would be if I was like listening to this music normally. So, take everything with like a grain of salt. Mix wise, so creatively, maybe it's totally fine, and that's just like what suits it in the genre, and you're chilling there. But I would turn the kick down just a little bit, turn up the volume of compress all the other shit and turn that shit up. Just like 3 dB up on everything else, maybe 2-3 dB down on the kick drum, slam your limiter a little bit more, and then everything else will pop out more. Because and you can also just like sidechain everything else to the kick drum a little bit more aggressively if you still want the kick to be really aggressively loud, but you can bring up the other elements without sacrificing the kick, Yeah, because there's like some like 808 percussion stuff in the background that I can just hardly even hear. So it would just benefit a lot from that. I feel like it should have some sort of switch up at some point. Maybe change out the sample, maybe reverse the sample, maybe pitch the sample down or up or something, layer it with another thing. I mean, I understand that like this type of like beat, I think could like usually the context and where it exists is for someone to like freestyle over it or do like a dance battle or whatever, where it's really loopy and like exactly what's going to happen. It's just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. But I do think it would benefit, like it's a 2-minute song, but it's like basically 30 seconds repeated 4 times. So it could be that 30 seconds is this thing, and then the next 30 seconds it's that, but with a different sample or some sort of warped, I don't know, changing up some element just to like extend the thing, and then you loop that twice instead of the same thing like 4 times or whatever. Just to keep it more interesting. Obviously, like I think what you're doing works for what it's trying to do, but I think you could extend and make it a little bit longer by making just a tiny bit more variation for another thing. You could also SoundCloud link if you drop it in the feedback thing, because I don't think links work in the YouTube. Okay, we got another one. All right, we're doing a full feedback stream. Yeah, Detroit type beat are pretty repetitive. I think what you're doing works. I think you can get away with making it a little bit less repetitive while still having it be like that, but I'm still looking for shit to complain about, right? Yeah. No, 808 is not even hitting, but he tries Shaw. My 808 hitting grandma's. Oh, nice. Good response. Good response, man. We'll put Sound Goodizer on it. I don't even know what Sound Goodizer does. I just know it's memed on heavily. Okay, let's check out Insidious, IDM glitched hyperpop remix of Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter. Word, okay, interesting. I think snares could be louder. The snares are very buried in the mix. This sounds dope.
I know. There's a cuter word for it.
Yeah, the snare, so the big snare so these snares in the previous section, I think could still be louder. It would make it, I don't know, it'd make it sound better, you know, because there's all this crazy shit happening, and they're like, oh, there's a snare doing the fucking snare thing, you know, it'll give me something to latch onto, whereas it's like kind of buried. The big snare that you bring in has no transient like at all. It's just the splash, and so it's not, you basically took out all the good parts. You're like just eating crust. You're like eating, it's like you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich and it's literally just the crust. So let's go back.
I know. There's a cuter word for it.
And the snare also sounds really wide. I don't know, maybe try to check for like mono compatibility, maybe. Just like check to make sure everything isn't like super out of phase. That could be a thing to keep in mind. It sounds wide to the point of being kind of phasey, but I don't know. I could be. Also, I think I don't like one, the snare has no transient. Two, it's just white noise. You were using really cool snares in the beginning section that I think would be cooler here. Also, the snares are kind of just doing this like 70 BPM, really predictable. Drums remaining too heavy. Yeah, they're like too slow and predictable in the way they are relative to everything else going on, and the fact that this is like an IDM glitch hyperpop remix. You can make the snares super crazy and bombastic. You can make them do fills. You can make them move on unpredictable spots, and you can make them short and more glitchy and staccato and like IDM-y, as opposed to this like future bass. It feels like I'm listening to 2013 future bass drums on a fucking 2020's 100 Gex remix of Sabrina Carpenter, and it's a weird dichotomy going on. I would rework the snare personally. That would be my biggest approach. I don't think I have really any other complaints other than stuff about the snare. There's some clicks right there. There's keep in mind there are some. The vocals could be louder. So I don't usually mix vocals, so this is something I often forget, but like vocals are loud as shit in pop music and like hyper pop. They're like really upfront. They're pretty buried in the mix here. So don't be afraid to make the vocals the like biggest thing in the mix, right? Because that's you want, you know, in pop and hyper pop and all that, you're trying to make an anthem, you're trying to make music that people sing along to, right? How do you do that? You make it so that they fucking know what the words are by making it loud as shit and making it feel good to sing along to. And it's also just the most important central element, so you can make it louder. That was fucking awesome. That basically did everything I wanted it to do up until that point. You basically solved all of my issues, and I now respect the song so much more. I still think the beginning half could be improved upon a lot, but that was dope.
Swear
And then yeah, oh yeah, you said it's still in the works. Yeah, vocals need to be a lot louder. The snare kind of sucks, with the exception of I think this section over here, it kind of slaps. I mean, it's still not the greatest snare, but there's so much cool shit going on, and it's not that like really splashy, no transient thing from earlier. Um, but basically, it's just the snare can be improved. Everything else is fucking sick. I don't really have that much mixing advice, I think, other than like there's a couple clicks throughout the song, and the vocals could be louder, because I think that's just what you want to do in like pop and hyperpop. Um, Normally I'd complain about it being clipped, but that is how you're supposed to do hyperpop. Like it sounds like you're hitting all the beats and you're doing all the right things for this genre and what you're going for. Um so yeah, cool stuff. Thank you for the submission. All right, we got two more. I think these are also two new. Holy shit. Okay, this is just we're just doing stream got hijacked. We're just doing feedback. All right, walking through time. Let's see what we got here. Your snare is panned, or at least like the splash of the snare is panned, and I hate that. Everything else sounds cool. This sounds cool. But please just have your snares always be centered. Like I have hearing damage, and so when I hear like everything that I listen to in headphones is already like tilted a little bit to the left. So like when some shit is panned that is central to the element to the central to the mix, then the whole thing just like gets exaggerated and it drives me fucking insane. Also just like I want snares just should be centered. That's my thing. Drums sound sick though. Everything sounds cool. I think the kick could be a little bit less clicky. It is very clicky. So like usually what I do to take care of clicky kicks is like let's say we have this fucking dude just like right here. I would just add a little bit of a fade. I'll be like, this is too clicky. I would just do that. And then just like play around until you have the right amount of thump to click ratio. That sounds good. I think you could dial the click a little bit back and it would still sound good. Sounds fucking awesome. It's like got emotion and shit in it while also being like cool bass sound design. Some of the bass sounds are a little bit resonant. It doesn't sound too bad right now, but also the song is really quiet. So like when you end up mastering this and you throw a limiter or a clipper or whatever and you boost the shit out of everything, I suspect that these sounds are going to be very resonant. So you could use Soothe or a Soothe clone. I know there's a ton of VSTs that are free that do the exact same thing that Soothe does. I don't know the VSTs, but I know they exist. So I would use one of those, or Soothe if you have it, to take care of those like mids, low mids resonances over here. Right there, right fucking there. You can see in the mini meters, it'd be getting a little bit resonant. It's resonant there again too, right there. I think you should use a riser or something to indicate when the drop is coming. That is my opinion. I think it would benefit a lot from some sort of build and like tension release, because right now there's just release with no tension whatsoever. The hats in the background are very quiet. I would work on the drums a lot. So if you're trying to go, so wait, let me go. Yeah, the drums are pretty busy here, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's like full, and it like feels very forward driving. Like I feel like this section is just going, it's smooth. I feel like I'm on the highway at night, and I'm thinking about, I don't know, my ex or some shit. You know, I'm dwelling. And then over here, this is when you want to be like thrashing around and moshing or whatever, but there's not much happening besides like the kick and the snare and the bass. Uh, Using halftime drums, maybe swingy hats, maybe like drum fills, toms, and stuff like that, I think would accentuate and make all of the other bass parts make more sense. As it stands, I think the first part sounds like 10 times better than the second part, but of course the second part isn't finished yet. So that could be that like once you add the right elements and you add the rest of the drums and you really like iron out the bass sounds or whatever, it'll be cool. But I think it's lacking. It's lacking the melody and the chords. That's what I love the most about this song is the contrast between the really beautiful chords and stuff, and then also the bass doing the following along with the melody to complement the chords. It gives it like a unique color. And then in this section, we kind of just go into like halftime, like tear out dubstep kind of thing, which just feels kind of generic. Again, you know, I'm giving all my opinions here, right? You know, it's all subjective. Take everything with a grain of salt. But I think that what you have here is special and sounds really, really great in this bit. And I would try to lean a little bit more into the thing that made it special, at least for me. And what made it special was the chords and the melody and stuff. Now, I'm a sucker for chords. I like notes and rhythms and melody and chords in my music. So that's my opinion. Some people want to mosh to really angry tear out dubstep. So that's them. This is just my opinion. But I would try to put some more chords maybe in this section, maybe rehash the general idea of what was going on in here with the forward driving drums and this kind of drop idea, and doing it again but with like more elements, swagging it up a little bit more. I don't know, adding risers, fallers, saturating the bass, adding extra layers, counter melodies, stuff like that. So you have this thing and then it dies down and then it comes back with a vengeance, as opposed to this. It sounds like two different songs. All of this is to say it sounds like two different songs right now. And I think it could be better if it's not like one song. I don't know. Maybe, you know, I've only listened to like 20 seconds of this drop, so maybe I'm going to eat my fucking words and like 2 seconds is going to come around and show all the chords will show up, but yep, they came back. I'm a fucking asshole. Okay, they did kind of come back. I think the first part is kind of lame, and could use a build up and maybe some sort of teasing of the chords or like the background sparkly melody. Like those things maybe an octave below. I don't know. I mean, you said you're looking for ideas. I would try to incorporate some of this stuff over here. Take that, put it over here, drop it down an octave or something, maybe wash it out, maybe glitch it, maybe like open up a low pass filter on it and have it delay out on the offbeat, because this is like a slow thing, so you could have like an offbeat like chord. Boom, boom, and then like right on the offbeat, I don't know, something like echoes out and has a chord or something. Just these other melodic things that will make when the melody comes back in sound more satisfying. I don't know, man. Look, I'm reaching here. I'm looking for I'm trying to roast music. It's the goal. I think something else. It's just the drums are missing stuff. I think. I don't know. It's hard for me to put my finger on just because it's an unfinished song. Like what it is that's bothering me. I think. Um, but this section has like these the really forward driving drums, and then they all just kind of disappear here, and then when the elements get re-added, it feels like the energy's been taken out. I don't know. I hope that that was helpful. That wasn't my greatest feedback, but I think I gave you some ideas probably to work with. At least what is and isn't working with me right now. I think the first half is fucking awesome where it is. I think you have something really cool that you're working with. And it will probably turn out to be a great song. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Neat. Wait, let me maybe it's gonna blow my mind in the last second. Cool. Yeah, really cool. I like it. Sounds good. It does sound good. Second half needs a more concrete identity, but you're getting there. Okay, we got one more song by Cool. It's meditate_8. So I do notice that this was released already and like a year ago. So I am gonna roast the shit out of it in terms of like technical stuff, even though like if you want ideally for feedback, you'd want a song you most recently worked on, you know? I mean, I'll go ahead and peep this regardless, but I would recommend when you're seeking feedback to try to show, yeah, like what is currently the most closest form to your like artistic ability at that moment, right? Just because like people do this from time to time, and I feel like it doesn't benefit them as much because then they're like, yeah, that was a year ago. I made it better now, and I'm like, well, you know, no, Mr. Leakey, he was just here earlier. Yeah, he's always around. He doesn't stick around as much anymore. He likes to hang out in other streamers' live chats, which does bum me out a little bit. But he does always stop by to tell me that I'm doing an excellent job. So. All right, that guy is way too loud. Much too loud relative to everything else. And could use... I was gonna say it could use Soothe, but I think it's just too fucking loud. I don't know, some EQ on the mids, low mids, and turn it down by like 8 dB or something. It's your master's clipping a little bit right around here. So just like watch, I don't know, your master limiter or clipper or whatever and the levels that are going into it. Could be that you're not like side chaining things properly. I mean, I think you're just turning, the shit is just turned up a little bit too loud. That shouldn't be like the main element. Also, thank you, Saside. I think I probably said your name before and mispronounced it. Yeah, no, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like it's after your kick drum and how the bass line is like reacting to your side chain or something, and there's like this weird clicking artifact, not clicking, clipping artifacts. I don't know. There's weirdness going on with your side chain. Yeah. The snare sounds like you dragged it directly out of a sample pack and there's like no processing. It sounds like I'm like, right now I'm hitting the arrow keys to go through samples on a sample pack. I just passed over like 808 clap without mixing it into the song. Um, which is to say, turn it down and then try to compress it maybe with the other elements in the song, which is to say just the kick. It could be that maybe it needs other elements with it because it's really a bare bones song at this point and it needs like an open hat or a hi-hat or something with it when it gets introduced. So you have an open hat beforehand and then the kick and the snare come in later on with the other thing. Ultimately, I would say use a different sample because I think it doesn't sound good. And usually the best solution to fixing drums is to use different drums. But you could justify it by either having other elements in the mix, turning it down, compressing it, making it so that you use a high attack compression with like a low threshold and a really low or a really high ratio or whatever. So like clamps down really quickly on the snare and then makes it sound different, more snappy. I don't know. Layering it with other snares. Something I would recommend playing around with would be risers and fallers to keep momentum and keep interest in the song because as this is like kind of a bare bones trancey song with like there's like a couple elements that are introduced every like 16-32 bars as is, you know, like the formula, and a lot of the elements don't have much or any variation between them. To keep listener interest, you want some movement to be happening beyond just the elements carrying on through time, and that movement can be done easily through like fallers and risers. So just, you know, whenever like when it's coming up to some part where you're introducing a new element, have a riser build a little bit of tension, and that tension is released by the addition of a new element. As also fallers, as in like when the downbeat happens on your new 16 beat or 16 bar or 32 bar cycle or whatever, something starts like raining down from above and then washes down, and like it's like this big release, and then, you know, it keeps interest. It makes it so that the whole entire section of your song, which would normally be like 32 bars of the exact same elements repeating over and over again, have variation from every single moment to moment because there's a faller or a riser on both ends of it that are sounding different at every single point in time because they're actively falling or rising, you know? Um, that would be a good way to spice up the song and make it sound a little bit more polished. Yeah, the snare's too loud even relative to the other thing. Sorry, I'm gonna start clicking around. I've given feedback to like 10 songs in a row, and also the bell is pretty loud. It's got a lot of like ultra high frequency content and stuff, and that can be kind of grating. Also, the piano has a lot of low-end mud and stuff in it, so just use an EQ to take care of the piano in this section over here. Just scoop out the lows and stuff like that, and it'll make it fit a little bit better. Right now I can like hear the pressing down on the keys, and I can hear the mud and low-end frequencies coming from the piano. Mastering, I want to worry about just when you're producing yourself, just think of mixing and mastering as the same thing. So legit, this is the way I've done it since always. Once I got Ozone, I would throw it on my master, slam the limiter, and then just continue mixing my song. So if you slam the limiter and all of a sudden one element is too loud, that doesn't mean, oh, well, I mastered the song, therefore this element's supposed to sound too loud. It's after putting my limiter on the master, some elements become too loud, so I need to turn them down such that it reflects through the limiter better. Basically, mix into your limiter. Yeah, gain staging is super important. So usually, before and after you apply your limiter, it's gonna fuck with the loudness of different elements in your mix. So when that is done, you basically just mixing the song again, but it's into a limiter. And when you're mixing into a limiter, the way that you mix becomes a little bit more complex. Now a nonlinear process, meaning if you turn up one element, it's not necessarily gonna just turn up because it's turning up relative to everything else that is being limited with it. So it can get a little bit more complex, and you might run into some issues where you're like trying to adjust the volume of something and it won't adjust right because other elements are fighting for space with the limiter, but you don't really have to worry about that too much. All you should just worry about right now is when you're mastering or mixing or whatever, is that you have your limiter on your master such that it's turned up such that your master is like at -10 LUFS, -9, whatever your goal is. Then just try to make it sound as good as you can at that level. Just make it sound good. Just put the limiter on there so that the song is loud, and then make it sound good. And then just do that for years, and then it just becomes intuitive nature, and then you'll end up learning more and more about it. Yeah, just game staging is really just the most important thing. Game staging is 90% of mixing and mastering, really. It's just making sure everything's at the right volume. There's also a little bit too much reverb, I think. I mean, it's a cool vibe. It's a nice vibe, like actually talking about the melodies and the harmony and whatnot, and maybe time for one more. All right. I'm gonna drink some water because I've been yapping for like an hour, and then I'll peep Van Dweller's thing again, and then I'm gonna listen to my thing, and then sleep or something. I don't know. I'll be back in a minute. All right, we are back. We have another song by Van Dweller called Carrot Leak. Let's see. I feel like the high end, something about that transient's bothering me. Maybe it's ear fatigue at this point. Uh, Maybe just like high shelf down, maybe low pass filter. I'm just not crazy about the high end on the transient on the guitar, whatever string thing. And then also, I think the delayed bit could be filtered a little bit more. I mean, I just have a beef with the high end transient of the thing itself. So what I want is I want the delay to be more filtered like this, but right now it sounds like it's like that. Um, and I think all of that could just be fixed if you just put a low pass filter on it. Just on the high end. I don't know. I don't know. It's bothering me. I'm speaking my truth. Also, it's kind of loopy. I wanted to do something else. I'm just not a fan of the sound. Maybe like a lower, smoother sound and synthesizer doing that thing, and maybe less frequently. Because right now it sounds like it's happening like every 4 bars. Maybe it can happen every 8 bars. Maybe when it goes dun and then go dun 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 dun, and then like it just on the next 4 bars, there's just a single note and it just goes dun on the tonic, and then that just like echoes out for a bit, and then you have other synthy sounds come in, and then after 8 bars, right, because you just expanded this whole thing to be 8 bars long, then you repeat it again, and then I will complain less because it did the thing that I wanted it to do. So you could try that, perhaps. Everything about this is fucking amazing, except the plucky thing. I'm gonna keep talking about it. I don't like it, but everything else sounds really good. Okay, so the bass, the sub is hitting like the whole time, which I think you could play a little bit more with. Okay, one, it's based that you're doing all the crazy pitch bends. I like that. I think you could play a little bit more with dynamics. So maybe like when the kick drum hits, then it plays at full volume and then goes to silence for a little bit and then comes back in. It's just this like constant wall, which I think could just benefit a little bit more from vanishing and then coming back in. Um, Furthermore, the only time that it is silent the entire time is right after the downbeat of the very first kick drum every 16 bars. And that is the most important and impactful beat, and that's the only one that doesn't have the sub bass, and it hurts me a little bit because it's not there and then it comes in half a beat later, right? I don't know, that I'm not expecting that. It's like the exact inverse opposite of what you'd expect. Short and release, yeah, short and release. I mean, it depends on like when it's playing. If I don't know if you've seen my sub bass tutorial where I made like a super crazy wonky whatever the fuck sub bass, but this giant rack, basically the way I have it set up is that whenever a kick drum plays, it plays at full volume and then decays out, and it does very similar stuff to what you're doing in the song in terms of like all the crazy pitch bends and stuff. And so making it such that it plays at full volume on the kick drum to emulate how 808 kicks work, right? A kick plays and it's at full volume and then it decays out. That could be cool. So I don't know if you're layering it such that it's always playing when the kicks play, like your notes are when the kicks play, then yes, shortening the release could probably benefit. Or just like cutting it or something. I don't know, just like put maybe volume automation, put a gain utility and like fuck with the gain at different points. I just think it being an endless wave, just going constantly, can get a little tiring. Because it's also really busy. It's going up and down and up and down and all crazy around and stuff like that, but it's also just like never stopping, and it gets a little tiring in a sense. I don't know. Like right there, it's like super busy. Like right here, I wouldn't do it goes like do 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 do, right? I would just make it pitch down. This is with sub bass, you can't really be too busy in too short a time period, just because it's got like a really large wavelength and takes a long time to like resolve, right? Um, so just stuff like that. I think there's little things like that that you can like clean up about the sub bass. I like the vision and I like the idea a lot. So like the ba da 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 da, it can fade out to silence probably, or just a lot quieter, and then like at the end of the next phrase, it can like silence again. Maybe, I don't know. I might be harping on that point a little bit too much relative to how important it is, but it's just something that came. I want the guitar to go away. Especially after that crazy, like, fucking flute bird sound right here. It, like, it's the coolest sound ever, and then just the same things come back in. It's like replace the guitar with a I don't know, a different synth at that point. You can even keep it. You can even keep the guitar for a little bit. It doesn't have to go away forever. I don't like it in the intro. I think you could use it there, but then I think at that point, then you can swap it with a synth doing the same thing. I don't know. I understand you already understand that I don't like the guitar. I am gonna continue bitching endlessly though. It will happen. That guy's a little bit too loud. You know the one. It's panned to the left. That guy's a little too loud. Yeah, it's definitely too loud. I think the snare's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I take back me speaking about this. Hold on. Let me go back. I think I heard a click or something. There's like a squelch in a pan to the right, and it happens at the same time as the snare, and the squelch is doing some weird, buzzy, distorted, clippy sound bit at the same time as the snare in the right speaker, and I don't like it. It's at 231. Let me... Yeah, it's like it's just a squelch with a bandpass filter on a thing, and it sounds bad in that moment. And so I would just, I mean, you could just solve it by just sidechain compressing your snare to the squelch, and it probably would just clean it up because it happens at that moment. And that would just be good practice for your snare to have more sidechain compression going on with other elements. Okay, so when you replace the guitar, because you're going to, I'm going to make sure of it, I think it could do way more melodically as well. It's not just the timbre that I'm bummed about. Like, yes, I think you could lengthen it from 4 bars to 8 bars, but I think you can create a more advanced and long melody, and then you can like in this section in particular, at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, we're in this breakdown. I want to hear the melody take me somewhere. I want to be taken on a fucking adventure. I want it to subvert my expectations and go bum 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 bum, and then I don't know, just go fucking somewhere else. And then as it goes somewhere else, I'm like, oh shit, okay, we're going somewhere else. It's not looping forever. Then 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 counter melody, another element comes in on top that plays at the same time, and it's creating polyphony, and then it's creating chord progressions, whoa, and then it builds, and then the chords, I don't know, get effects on them, and there's like fucking crazy ducks and I don't know, squelchy mushroom people talking in your ears, because that's the kind of music that you make, and then it builds, and then it drops, and then holy shit, it's a drop. That's what I envision. Yeah. Which is to say, it's basically exactly what you're doing, but just add more advanced melodies and counter melodies. Yeah. I would play around with counterpoint. I don't know if you played around much with the premise of counterpoint. I mean, you're good enough a musician to like just kind of do what I'm asking you to do, but counterpoint is just the idea of making the melodies purposefully move in opposite directions. You go da da da, right? Then the other one would go da da da, or like I don't know. I already fucked it up, but it's going the opposite direction, right? Um, yeah, fucking murder the guitar. Take him out back, put a bag over its head, and shoot it, please. Yeah, you're kind of doing what I'm asking you to do. Yeah, there's other melodies and other melodic and harmonic stuff going on. Um, but it's all very loopy. So I guess it's a little different than what I was asking. Like what you're doing is you're like layering loops, 4-bar loops on top of each other with different sound design, and then that's building. I guess the thing I was asking for was like, I don't know, some like Bach-esque fucking counterpoint thing building, which maybe is a bit much. At least I think you can expand more than just instead of it's like all 4-bar loops. Here's like more of a meta I don't know, critique of the things that a lot of the stuff here is 4-bar loops. Um you can make them 8 bars, 16 bars, I think. Just lengthen stuff. Certain chords come in at the end of every 8 or 16 bars. Make longer chord progressions because it's like I feel like I'm just sitting in the same emotion and the same feeling kind of the whole time. Whereas with a chord progression happening over a longer period of time, you can take me a little bit on a journey over a longer period of time. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I can't tell if my feedback is getting better over time or worse as I'm becoming like more manic as time goes on. Like at least at the end of like every like the first 12 bars can be one loop, and then the 13th through the 16th bar could have a different chord progression. Do like a 1-5-1 thing, do a dominant whatever. Something like that. And yet you have a lot of different melodic elements that are like chiming in every now and then. Like there's one thing that just went like, a second. Yeah, you go like, I don't know. There's these background like kind of signy synth elements that are just like playing like 1 or 2 notes, but I think they can carry along a little bit longer, and you could expand on them a little bit more, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know. You got all the rest. You got all the ingredients here to make a fire, super good cake. There's just one culprit, one who shall not be named. That's just. There's a click right there. Yeah. Okay, I mean it's cool. I mean what's my biggest feedback? I think the sub bass could be improved a little bit. Murder the guitar. I think you could extend sections, swap out the guitar with different synths, and then you make that synth evolve and timbre and change up throughout. And at least like I think once we get maybe you could like keep the overall structure the same. But I think when we get to the breakdown halfway through, I think that's when you should really explore making it less loopy and really like make it take you more on a journey. And then this next drop can be, I mean, this like you can make the breakdown, whatever you do with the breakdown, this whole fucking polyphony or whatever I've been ranting about, which who knows if you're even gonna do what I'm saying or you're gonna discover a whole different way to make the song better. Um, but that whole thing you can then use as the basis for what's gonna happen in your second drop, you know? Um, and then you make your second drop stand out a little bit more from the first. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. I don't know. I think I'm feedbacked out, so I apologize if my feedback for the past few has been lackluster. But I feel like I'm just getting more and more opinionated and less instruct. No, you know what? No, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Okay, all right. We survived. We made it. No one else has feedback. No one else wants a song. We survived. Huge. Let's see. What does this thing sound like? Who why is there sidechaining happening when it shouldn't be happening immediately? The very first thing I fucking noticed. Are you serious, mate? What is going on? I was recording the wrong fucking thing. I'm too tired, I think. I think I gotta stop. I don't think my hearing is accurate right now. But I'm motivated. Despite all the advice I was giving earlier about fucking taking breaks from music and only working on things for small chunks at a time, it just might work if I ignore all of that and just keep working on this song. It might. I just want this fucking dude. You up. Yeah, just big and loud. Oh my god, mini meters was up and being annoying this whole time and no one even said a thing. Oh, jeez. I mean, you're all probably... I don't know, you probably got like 4 monitors open right now. Not paying feel like the drums all of a sudden suck in the high end. They're like super squashed, man. Like okay. Yeah, second half slaps. This This section over here is a little questionable. There's just a lot of elements going on at the same time, a lot of reverb. And then this bit over here sounds like almost there. There's just a lot of dynamic parts and different elements that are just varying on like a little bit too loud and a little bit not loud enough. So I probably just need to do group compression, just a tad bit of group compression. What do we got here? I'm just gonna, fuck it, I'm just gonna group. I think it's all of this. Like, U2. Putting U2 over here. This group, this project file is horribly managed. I'm just gonna group everything over here. And then I'm gonna use Bloom on like a low amount, I think. And then we're just gonna use, honestly, we're just gonna give it a little bit of that. I think the high end's fine. I think there's just a little bit in that kind of region, and then we'll just fucking. Also unsure if clipping the chords is the move. It sounds kind of good, and it also sounds kind of bad simultaneously, you know? The chords, these fucking dudes. I think my perception is shot, and I just need to stop working on that. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do sound design. We're gonna stop working on things that I may fuck up and make sound worse. And instead we're just gonna twist some knobs and we're gonna have fun. Don't we like having fun? I do. Yeah. And we could play around with the we'll play around with the fucking what is it called? The VST I'm making. Yeah, how exciting. That's right, folks. I'm making a VST. Let's hold on. Let's get the newest version, VST3, and then U, copy U. Now I haven't tested out any of the last things I added to it, but it should be fine. Continue. Go ahead, copy. You're open in another what? Maybe because I'm opening a new project file, I'm just trying to find it. I don't know. I don't know nothing, man. Okay, whatever. We won't be able to do that. We're just using the older version. That's fine. Turn that off. And then, what do we do? What do we do? I could show you all Hyperfield a little bit, and make everyone sad. So, Hyperfield, if you are unaware, this is a synth being developed by J-Lang. It is in beta, and I've been beta testing it and finding bugs for him, and it has been a hoot. It is the coolest synthesizer I think that's ever been made. Unironically, I'm not even trying to shill it. It is an additive synthesizer that is completely modular. So you can just take any effect you want. We can grab like a phaser, right? We have like a saw wave going into a comb, right? And this is a comb filter, but it's additive. Right? So that's cool. And then we put this into a phaser. And we can also change the timbre of the input wave. And yeah, it's fucking nuts. And so a newer feature that I'm supposed to be testing out is we can use another generator. So this is the particle generator, which like if we just solo this guy, sounds like this. Right? Anyways, it does that. It basically it chooses partials randomly and then like plays them out. Sounds cool. And if you can then use the output of this to spectrally sidechain input of another synthesizer. So I think we should. Nothing's playing. Oh, I'm bypassing. Okay, so what's happening now is the phaser is only being applied to the particles. No, I'm sorry. The partials that are being chosen by the particle engine are only applying the phaser to those partials in our saw wave, which doesn't really sound like much right now. It's just lowering and changing the volume of a couple random particles. So let me try to remember how do we do this? How do we do this? What do we want to do? I think we could take a low pass filter, and then you go into a low pass filter, right? We'll bypass this. Which, by the way, this is a spectral low pass filter, so it's literally just like removing partials additively. So if you boost the resonance, sounds fucking nuts. And this drive is not your normal drive. It's not wave shaping. It's literally adding the correct amount of partials at the end of the resynthesis engine to each of the sine waves where it's applied to, such that it creates what appears to be wave shaping. But it's all done additively. Oh, I didn't even notice I have a freaking bot in the chat. It's been stinking up the chat room this whole time. I didn't even notice. Terrible. Anyways, so the idea, I think, is if we use this particle engine and then apply U to U, now what's happening is the low pass filter is deleting all partials, but we're now saying I only want to apply that low pass filter to the particles that are selected by this fucker, right? So that means whenever a particle from this plays, which is it's just choosing random partials, it's then trying to turn down the volume with a low pass filter. So you'll notice random partials up here just lowering in volume for just a second, right? So you might be like, okay, what's the fucking point in that? But you can take this node called blend, and then this guy allows you to subtract signals. So we can take this difference mode, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this output, which is just this is the saw wave, and we're just randomly deleting a partial, right? And then we're going to take the input before it, which is the saw wave before. And now we're only hearing the deleted partials. Let me I'm gonna press the shit out of this. We can take this guy called Sculpt, and then this guy we can plug into here. And this guy behaves as, it's basically Prism from Harmor, right? You can draw on your own thing. We can set it to be, right now it's on like on amplitude. It's kind of working like a EQ, right? I'm like choosing what I want. Let me turn off flatline at the end actually. It is too aggressive, and let me just boost. Right, it's like an EQ. How do I delete? Can I even fucking delete these guys? How do I do this? I don't know. I don't. Okay, I fixed it. But we can set this to frequency, and so now instead of adjusting the amplitude, we can do that. And we can also apply an LFO to the shape. And then at the end of this whole thing, you got a, I don't know, a phaser. Which, like, that's all fun and cool. Something else we can do is we can take the output. Actually, this might break it. I can't remember. We can take the output of this phaser, right? And we can use this output, and let's plug it on the shape of polymorph, which is this guy. So what this is doing now is I can right-click this, and I can make the output level of this node is going to be a parameter that controls this knob, which it's not doing much. You can see this is the level amount isn't changing much, but we can change this to be like brightness. Still not doing much. Spread. They're all just not doing too much. How do we make you better? Pitch. What if instead of you going to you, let's clear this. Let's have you, which controls pitch, or is controlled by pitch, go to pitch here. To create like a feedback loop. See, that's the good shit. That's the good shit right there. So, yeah, it's super modular. Let's take the output of sculpt, and then this is going to control the rate of this guy. And so we'll make you... I don't know, most of these don't seem to do much. Motion? How do I want to look at the cables all the time. I can't remember how to do that. There we go. Ow. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I don't know, we got a bunch of crazy sounds. So, now that we have all of these crazy sounds, right, we can take this guy, and then now let's try using the plugin I'm making, which is this fucking thing. Hold on, let's change the background because this looks bad. Let's make you this one. Yeah. We're basically in DMT world. This is our character. Check him out. Good shit. And then we want the sphere up. And so now this sound is coming from this guy. And then we can like split this. I think we need to slow it down so I can hear more frequency content. So let's do that. Let's duplicate this. And we'll put this over here. And then this guy, we can link them. So now we have two objects in space. You can place the objects in different spots. Oh, I need to unmute this. They sound a little bit too similar. It's kind of hard to distinguish them. That's a cool sound. Okay, anyways, I think that's enough fun for now. I am sleepy, I am tired, everything hurts. Um, but that was fun. We were productive. We gave feedback for like a good while. That was fun. I haven't had a good feedback session in quite some time. So, that was good. I will stream again tomorrow, so y'all can look forward to that. We will be doing more of this. What you usually have probably come to expect from the live stream. Um, so yay, you can look forward to that. Yeah. All right, I am heading out, and I will